The African savanna, where the heat scorches the horizon, where every breath of wind carries the breath of life and death. Just one small mistake is enough to exchange for life. In a land where survival is a never-ending battle, which species will rise to the throne? The savage savanna, the Cape, buffaloes counterattack against the Lion King. In the heart of Africa, endless golden grasslands stretch to the horizon. This is a world where every creature, from the mightiest predator to the largest prey, must fight every day to survive. Where strength, strategy, and solidarity determine who will survive and who will become a meal. The savanna awakens as dawn breaks. Against the golden sky, the sun slowly rises. The wind whistles through the grass. Birds of prey soar overhead, and in the distance, a giant cloud of dust is raised by thousands of heavy footsteps. It is the Cape buffalo herd that is beginning its migration journey, a survival epic that has been repeated for centuries. And the Cape buffalo is a giant animal of the savanna with a muscular body weighing up to nearly a ton. Its dark fur helps it blend into the grass, while its curved horns like axe blades form a protective armor and are a powerful attack weapon. The Cape buffalo herd always moves in large groups, sometimes up to hundreds, even thousands of individuals. Their strength lies not in each individual, but in their unity. They eat grass, migrate according to the rainy season and water sources, leaving footprints on the steppe like the engravings of time. As the sun begins to rise, the buffalo herd approaches the riverbank. The clumsy steps of a few young buffalo make the formation fragile. In the tall grass, bright yellow eyes suddenly flash. The lions had been waiting for a long time, motionless as shadows, patiently watching the buffalo herds. The lions tightened their siege. A small buffalo was behind the herd. A rare opportunity appeared. The buffalo fell, becoming a trophy for the predators. The harsh loss of nature where life is just a thin line. In the world of Cape buffalo, the survival of the young generation is the absolute priority. Amidst the harsh migration journeys, the Cape buffalo herd still continues to maintain its breed. During the rainy season, when the grasslands are greenest, this is the ideal time for Cape buffalo to reproduce. After nearly 11 months of pregnancy, each female usually gives birth to only one calf. The calf is born with a smooth coat and shaky legs, but after only a few hours it can walk with the herd. From the moment it was born, it became the center of the herd. The adults immediately formed a protective circle, shielding and guiding the young in their first steps. It was this instinct to bond and protect strictly that helped the Cape buffalo overcome countless challenges, maintaining a stable number throughout thousands of years of evolution on the harsh grasslands. Dusk gradually fell. In the evening light, the Cape buffalo herd continued its journey. But the lions did not give up easily. From afar, the golden shadow appeared again, preparing for another attack. They rushed forward. Thinking that the scenario would repeat itself. But this time, the buffalo herd did not run away. The whole herd suddenly fought back, charging towards the lion pride. A lion was thrown off the ground. The whole pride of lions was shocked and ran away one by one. From the hunters, they became the chased. The Cape buffalo are the tanks of the steppe, both an important source of life and a symbol of resilience and solidarity in nature. They have contributed to shaping the balance of life and death on the harsh grasslands, where no predator is allowed to underestimate. The steppe has temporarily returned to peace. The river flows quietly, reflecting the survivors. Nature is impartial today. The victory belongs to the Cape buffalo. But tomorrow, who will be the one to fall? However, the cycle of survival on the savanna never stops. On the other side of the horizon, another epic of the savanna begins. From afar, the ground is rolling with the footsteps of tens of thousands of people. It is a herd of wildebeest, up to tens of thousands of individuals, moving into a giant black waterfall across the savanna. The wildebeest has a unique appearance, with a solid body, a large, rough head, a standing black mane, and a pair of curved horns like a sickle. The average weight can be up to 250 kilos, with strong legs that allow them to run hundreds of kilometers. Not as agile as the Thompson's antelope, but in return, they possess extraordinary endurance. The herd instinct is the key to survival. In a huge crowd, the weak are protected, and predators have difficulty choosing their targets. But it is also this chaos that turns the herd of antelope into a whirlwind of raw meat that carries both life and death. Before them, the vast Nile River awaited. The surface of the water glittered in the sunlight, seemingly peaceful, but underneath, the deathly men were hidden. The Nile crocodile, the most patient hunter, was motionless, its eyes floating on the water like deadly pebbles. The herd of antelopes crowded the riverbank. The shrill cries echoed throughout the savanna. Dust flew everywhere. The herd began to plunge into the water. Suddenly, a giant black shadow jumped up. But the waterfall of life continued to flow. Thousands of bodies still rushed forward, despite the imminent death. The river crossing was a harsh test. Only the lucky and strong could set foot on the other side. The first rains of the season finally came. The parched savanna suddenly transformed into an endless green carpet. The young grass grew lush. The river filled up again. This is the moment the wildebeest have been waiting for, the breeding season. In a short period of just a few weeks, hundreds of thousands of females give birth almost simultaneously. The young calves, with their pale fur and trembling legs, appear one by one on the grasslands. Within hours, they can stagger to their feet, then join the endless migration of the herd. It is a storm of life, awakening the entire grassland. But this simultaneous reproduction also brings a fierce price. Lions, hyenas, wild dogs are all attracted to this rare opportunity. Hunters wait at the edge of the herd, and each young creature faces the challenge of survival from the very first moment. And as the sun tilts to the west, darkness gradually swallows the grasslands. A new chapter in the battle for survival is about to open. A new day dawns on the grasslands. In the distance, a herd of wildebeests graze cautiously, their ears twitching at the strange sounds. In the patchy grass, silhouettes move. They are African wild dogs, the most persistent and notorious hunters here. With their black, yellow, and white fur like hand-painted puzzle pieces, wild dogs have large, upright ears, slim bodies, and long legs perfect for persistent chases. Each individual weighs about 20 to 30 kilos, smaller than lions, but they possess a more powerful weapon: absolute team spirit. Unlike solitary leopards or opportunistic hyenas, wild dogs live in packs of 10 to 30. They communicate with invisible signals, a look, a wagging tail, enough to synchronize their hunting tactics. Their success rate in hunting can reach 80%, the highest in the savanna. As the midday sun cast a fiery glow over the savanna, the ground seemed eerily silent. They advanced slowly, like ghosts silently closing the distance. The air was as tense as a string. The antelope began to raise its head, its legs trembling as it prepared to charge. Suddenly, the wild dog sprang up. In an instant, the whole herd joined forces, bringing it down cleanly. The hunt ended. Every moment was a song of life and death. The sound of heavy breathing, the sound of teeth tearing flesh mixed with the dust had not yet settled. But behind that cold victory, another side was revealed. Some wild dogs carried small pieces of meat back to the cave, where the hungry cubs were waiting. In African wild dogs, the whole group raises the new generation. Not only the parents, but all members share food, protection, and education. Thanks to that, the cubs, even though born in a harsh environment, still have the opportunity to grow up. On the fierce savanna, it is the spirit of solidarity that has turned the small wild dog into one of the most successful adapters. When the sun sets, the wild dogs rest next to the feast they have won. In the distance, the savanna temporarily returns to peace. And when the first rays of sunlight shine, the cycle of survival is started again. A new day, a new battle, all began on this harsh land. The wind whistled through the tall grass, carrying the cold and the pungent smell of fresh meat. In the dry grass, a pack of African wild dogs surrounded the carcass of an antelope that had just fallen after a long chase. The heavy breathing had not yet subsided when danger was approaching. From afar, the hunched shadows of a pack of spotted hyenas appeared, silently approaching. The notorious predators never passing up an easy feast. Ahead was a lucrative feast, but also a formidable enemy. The pack of wild dogs pricked up their ears in alertness, their eyes shining in the falling darkness. The African savanna would once again enter a fateful moment, when the two most intelligent predators faced off in a battle for survival. The two sides closed in, the circle surrounding the carcass shrinking. The wild dogs growled, bristled, ready to protect their spoils. They rushed into battle. The hyenas finally gave in, retreating into the grass, leaving behind the panting and burning eyes of the wild dogs. In the fierce cycle of survival, African wild dogs are living proof of the power of speed, tactics, and teamwork, the factors that make them one of the most formidable predators on the planet. On this arid savanna, courage, strength, and tactics now have to confront a new opponent, despair. This battle will not decide who is right or wrong. It only decides who will live to see tomorrow. The fight for survival never ends. It only pauses, waiting for a new dawn or a rain. What do you think about the counterattack of the Cape buffalo and lion? Leave a comment below the video. And if you also love the battles of wild animals, please press the bell and subscribe to not miss our next series. On the barren plains, where every grain of dust bears the footprints of the strong, the story of life has never been written in peace. When the armored giant steps into the domain of the king of the grassland, who will be forced to retreat? Death battle on the grasslands, the giant rhino versus the Lion King. Dawn in the fierce and harsh savanna grassland. Life exists here not by luck, but by adapting or being swallowed. Rare pools of water become the heart of the grassland, both a place of rebirth and a fierce battlefield. When the heat cracks the ground, only the toughest species can stand firm. Under the late afternoon sun, a few rhinos trudge toward a small watering hole strewn with pebbles. The thick layer of dust makes their rough gray skin look even more like ancient armor. Their gait is slow, but each step is like a hammer blow to the ground. In this harsh world, rhinos do not need speed, nor venom. Their weapons are pure strength and indomitable determination. Despite their taciturn and powerful appearance, rhinos are gentle herbivores. They spend most of their time grazing on low grass, finding muddy places to cool down and chase away parasites. With large ears that rotate constantly to listen, their keen sense of smell helps them detect enemies from afar. But their eyesight is quite poor, making them easily surprised by lurking dangers. The old scars are deeply engraved on the skin of adult rhinos, like trophies. They are proof that, in the battle for survival in the harsh grasslands, this giant has faced death many times. The baby, only a few months old, walks unsteadily next to its mother. It does not yet have the strength of its horns, nor does it know how to defend itself. All survival depends on its mother's protection. In the world of predators, an adult rhino is too dangerous, but a baby rhino is a prize that no ruler can ignore. In the distance, in the tall grass, The lioness lurked and watched. Her golden eyes locked on every movement. She had been tracking the rhino for half a day, waiting for a moment of weakness. The atmosphere was tense as a string. And then, the confrontation broke out. The rhino charged forward, each step of its feet reverberating like thunder. The lion had to retreat in chaos. The painful gore was an expensive lesson. Not all prey were willing to run away. But here, even the slightest noise could signal a new life and death battle. For rhinos, fighting is not only for survival, but also for reproduction. When the breeding season comes, the males turn into giant warriors. They roam the savanna, using their distinctive scents to mark their territory. When two males target a female, the entire grassland becomes an arena. The loud goring sounds pierce the air, and dust flies everywhere. Two living steel blocks collide, their horns clashing, sparks flying. No tactics, no tricks, only pure strength and determination determine the winner. When one is forced to leave, the winner approaches the female, beginning the journey to maintain the bloodline. The mating is brief, but behind it is a gestation period lasting 15 to 16 months, one of the longest in the mammalian world. When the calf is born, weighing about 40 kilograms, it immediately becomes the center of all dangers. Without a herd to protect it like antelopes or buffalo, the baby rhino has only one shield, the mother. And in those early years, every step of the mother rhino is a battle against predators, against thirst, and against death lurking under every dry grass. In the midst of the fierce grasslands, rhinos appear as a symbol of pure strength. With their thick, hard armor, sharp horns, and indomitable will, they are not only survivors, but also a testament to the resilience of nature. However, the savanna does not belong only to armored giants. On the other side of the savanna, an even more massive figure is gradually moving out of the dust. It is the African elephant, the most gigantic creature on land, with heavy footsteps that seem to shake the ground. They are the embodiment of transcendent memory and solidarity, values that have helped them maintain their position as engineers of the ecosystem for millions of years. In the blazing sunlight of the savanna, African elephants appear like giant mobile fortresses. Adult males are up to 4 meters tall, weigh more than 7 tons. Their wide ears like giant fans flapping gently in the wind to dissipate the scorching heat. On their time-chapped faces, long, curved tusks extend like white spears, both as a weapon of protection and as a tool for digging the ground, felling trees, and finding water sources hidden deep in the savanna. The elephant's trunk, a marvelous muscular structure with more than 40,000 muscle bundles, is a symbol of dexterity in a massive form. With it, an elephant can uproot a large tree, but can also gently pick up a tiny blade of grass. Each day, an adult needs nearly 200 kilos of food, forcing them to move constantly in search of young grass, leaves, and tree bark. Not only strong, elephants are also master social creatures. The elephant herd is led by a female elephant, who is the oldest and most experienced leader of the herd. The instinct of solidarity makes them a unified block. When an enemy appears, the whole herd immediately forms a steel circle, protecting the young ones in the center. Their extraordinary memory allows them to remember old water sources after decades, leading the whole herd back at the time of the most severe drought. And in communication, elephants use low-frequency sounds, an invisible language that travels tens of kilometers, to call each other in the vast sea of grass. In elephants, maternal love and collective care are fundamental. The gestation period lasts 22 months, the longest in the mammalian world. When the baby elephant is born, weighing more than 100 kilos, it is not only the mother's responsibility, but also the whole herd. The baby elephant suckles for many years, grows up under the protective arms of the aunts, the females in the herd, and is nurtured by the strength of the collective. In nature, almost no predator dares to confront an adult elephant. Only young ones separated from the herd become reckless targets of lions, hyenas, or giant crocodiles. Elephants are not only the largest land animals, they are also engineers of the ecosystem, creating paths in the jungle, opening new water holes, and spreading seeds through their dung. They maintain the biological rhythm of the savanna, like silent conductors of nature. The sun gradually sets on the horizon, drawing long shadows on the cracked grasslands. The savanna's harshness never ceases, where the scorching heat and endless hunger test every living creature. And in that stifling silence, another person prepares to enter the savanna's race to death. In the golden picture of the sunset, the slim figure of the cheetah gently separates from the dry grass. Its long body, slender legs, and thick tail that curves like a rudder, all are created by nature for the sole purpose of speed. Unlike lions or leopards, they do not rely on strength or stealth. The cheetah's only weapon is its ability to explode in the blink of an eye, reaching speeds of more than 100 km/h, as fast as an arrow shot from the savanna's bow. On its cold face, two black streaks run from the corners of its eyes to its muzzle, a natural anti-glare paint that helps them focus on their target in the harsh sunlight. Each stride can be up to 7 meters long, and in just a few seconds, the distance between the hunter and the prey is shortened to a suffocating distance. In the distance, the herd of antelopes grazes silently, their ears twitching slightly with each gust of wind. None of them knows that in the yellow grass, less than 100 meters away, a stray antelope. Its heart beats rapidly, its muscles tense like a bowstring pulled to the limit. And then it dashes. The savanna exploded in a storm of speed. A short cry, then all was silent. Death happened in an instant, as swift as the nature of this predator. On the savanna, life is determined not by lasting strength, but by explosive moments, where speed is absolute power. The sun gradually set towards the horizon, covering the savanna in a brilliant yellow mixed with crimson. The wind blew fiercely, carrying with it clouds of dry dust. In the distance, the Mara River flowed, its surface turbid, carrying with it a fierce force from upstream. In the distance, the ground shook with the pounding of footsteps. A herd of wildebeest, tens of thousands strong, was pouring towards the banks of the Mara River, forming a giant dark brown stream in the midst of a sea of yellow grass. Smoke and dust rose up, mingling with hoarse roars that echoed throughout the savanna. They jostled and pressed each other step by step, their eyes filled with panic as they stood before the surging water. Instinct urged the herd to cross the river to find fresh grass and water, but ahead was suffocating fear. A few recklessly dove in first, their heavy bodies swept away in the ferocious current. The herd behind immediately rushed down, turning the river surface into a sea of white waves. Under the murky water, giant black shadows had been lying still for hours, motionless like rotten logs. Only cold yellow eyes floated above the water, following each hasty jump of the wildebeest herd. Suddenly the water surged. A crocodile jumped up. The crocodile spun around madly, dragging its victim deeper into the darkness. The roaring sound of water, the stamping of hooves, all turned the river into a bloodthirsty arena. For a moment, the chaos subsided, but the dark shadows under the water continued to crawl silently, waiting for the next opportunity. They are the absolute rulers of Africa's underwater world. With a length that can exceed 5 meters and a weight of half a ton, they are one of the last giant reptiles left from the prehistoric era. Their armor-like skin, sharp serrated teeth, and bite force 10 times stronger than a lion's make them almost invincible creatures. Crocodiles do not need to chase, do not need to expend energy. They choose to lie still for hours, even days, hiding like a dead log, just waiting for the right moment to explode. Their food is extremely diverse, from fish, birds, antelopes, to even buffaloes or zebras that carelessly come to drink water. With their super strong stomachs, they can even digest turtle bones and shells. Crocodiles usually breed during the dry season. Female crocodiles dig nests on the sandbanks of rivers and lay from 25 to 80 eggs. After 3 months, the eggs hatch and the mother crocodile gently carries each baby into the water with her snout, a rare contrast between fierceness and maternal instinct. Adult crocodiles have almost no natural enemies. Only young crocodiles easily become prey for birds of prey, monitor lizards or large fish. On the flowing rivers of Africa, the Nile crocodile still silently holds the throne under the water. They do not need to show off, nor do they need blazing speed. With deadly patience and surprise attacks, this ancient reptile has affirmed its position throughout millions of years of evolution. On the harsh savanna, life has never been a peaceful song. No species is an absolute winner. Because each creature carries within itself a unique weapon of strength, memory, speed, or deadly patience. And it is this diversity that has created a glorious savanna, but also stained with red blood. Do you think rhinos are worthy of being the tanks of the savanna when they dare to confront the Lion King, or because they are so big? Leave a comment below the video. And remember to hit the bell, subscribe so you don't miss our next series on wildlife survival. In the heart of the arid Kalahari Desert, there exists an oasis full of life. It seems like a peaceful paradise, but under the water, a fierce battle awaits. When two forces compete for territory, the Okavango will turn into an arena of death. Who will be the true ruler? Okavango clash. Hippos face off against crocodiles in a death battle. In the heart of the arid Kalahari Desert, there is an oasis of life, but it is also a place that hides countless dangers. The Okavango is where the majestic river flows, spreading out like a giant vein, turning the dry land into a lush green paradise. Here, swamps, reed forests, and canals intertwine to create a vibrant maze where all species converge. Behind the picture of a cool paradise, the water surface suddenly ripples. Huge bodies emerge, revealing the appearance of Africa's most dangerous animal, the hippo river horse. Weighing up to 3 tons, hippos are one of the largest semi-aquatic animals on the planet. Their giant heads with mouths that can open up to 150 degrees, revealing long, sharp fangs. Their eyes, ears, and nose are located on top of their heads, allowing them to stay submerged while observing their surroundings. On land, they can run up to 30 km underwater. Their seemingly slow bodies swim and dive with amazing agility. Living in close-knit herds, hippos are extremely ferocious when protecting their territory and young. In the Okavango, no creature dares to underestimate them. However, the Okavango River does not only belong to hippos. Hidden beneath the murky waters, another ruler awaits, the Nile crocodile. With a length of up to 5 meters and the strongest bite in the animal world, they are cold-blooded ambush killers. Without making a fuss, the crocodile quietly approaches the hippo group, its yellow eyes flashing just below the surface. Every ripple, every burst of foam signals an impending storm. And then, a brutal war breaks out. The Okavango is no longer a peaceful oasis, but a place where life and death are decided by each bite, each whitewashed wave. When the mud settles, the surface of the Okavango returns to a temporary state of peace. But here, peace never lasts long. Tomorrow, new confrontations will erupt between the rulers and the weak creatures struggling to survive. However, in the Okavango, violence is not only to assert dominance, but also the key to the most important survival instinct, maintaining the species. In the world of hippos, the right to reproduce is always associated with violence. Adult males constantly challenge each other to gain dominance in the herd. The fight can last for minutes, even hours, with terrible bites, roars echoing throughout the river. The giant mouth opens wide. Half-meter-long fangs can pierce the opponent's flesh. The winner will keep the territory and the right to mate with all the females in the area. The loser often has to retreat, find other river areas, or continue to live alone, waiting for the next opportunity. Each pregnancy cycle of female hippos lasts about 8 months. When the day comes to give birth, they choose shallow and quiet water, giving birth to a baby weighing about 40 kilos. Immediately, the calf must come to the surface to breathe, then immediately nestle next to its mother. During the first weeks, the mother always protects her child closely, because crocodiles, lions, or wildebeest can all become threats. To survive in the world of the Okavango. From the moment of birth, the hippo calf must learn to rely on the protective strength of its mother and the fierce dominance of its father. Hippos have asserted their position as the formidable giants of the Okavango. They are not only symbols of strength, but also important links in the balance of the entire ecosystem. In this dangerous delta, the presence of hippos both sows fear and ensures the continued circulation of life. But the Okavango has never been a one-species affair. And other creatures on land are also preparing for their own journey of survival. On the dry grasslands surrounding the Okavango, a giant silhouette glides in the scorching sun. The African ostrich. Standing up to 2.5 meters tall and weighing nearly 150 kilos, they are the largest birds on the planet. Although their wings cannot take them to the sky, nature has given them long, strong legs. Each stride is up to 5 meters long, reaching speeds of more than 70 km/h, enough to leave most enemies behind. They are not predators, but their menu is extremely rich. From young grass, seeds, fruits to insects and small reptiles. Their sturdy beaks and special stomachs can crush even rocks, helping them survive in the dry grasslands. The large, round eyes, each measuring up to 5 centimeters wide, are the largest in the terrestrial animal world, allowing the ostrich to observe a distance of kilometers, detecting danger very early. At first glance, it looks a bit silly, but a kick from an adult ostrich can take down a lion. The breeding season usually takes place when the rain comes. The male shows off with a strange dance, spreading his wings, swaying his body, and emitting calls that echo across the steppe. If accepted, the female and the male will dig a simple sand hole to make a nest, which can hold up to 20 eggs, each weighing nearly 1.5 kilos, the largest in the animal world. The incubation is divided into shifts. During the day, The female with gray feathers blends with the dry grass. At night, the male with jet black feathers hides in the dark. After 6 weeks, the young ostriches are born, immediately able to stand and run with the flock, a wonderful evolutionary gift that helps them increase their chances of survival. However, danger is always lurking. Lions, hyenas, leopards, and even wild boars prey on eggs and young, reducing the survival rate in the first year to only about 15%. But if they survive that stage, ostriches grow rapidly, and when they reach adulthood, very few enemies dare to risk facing the fatal kick from their steel legs. On the Okavango grasslands, ostriches are proof that survival does not only come from fangs or venom, but sometimes it is speed. Vigilance and parental instinct that has helped a species steadfastly survive through millions of years of evolution. If the ground belongs to those who rule with speed and strength, then in the Okavango sky, another ruler calls out loudly. From high above, wings spread wide, sharp eyes looking down at the water. It is the African fish eagle, lord of the sky and the vast swamps here. In the vast sky of the Okavango, with a wingspan of more than 2 meters, the white feathers on the head and chest stand out against the dark brown background. They are considered a symbol of majesty and freedom, to the point of becoming the national bird of many African countries. Their sharp yellow eyes allow them to detect a fish just dozens of meters above the water. Fish make up more than half of their food ration, but when hungry, they are also ready to hunt waterfowl, turtles, and even steal prey from other species. Fish eagles usually live in pairs for life. On the tops of tall trees, they build giant nests from dry branches, which can be used and repaired for many years. On a high branch of a tree on the edge of the Okavango swamp, a majestic figure quietly observes the water surface. The African fish eagle is motionless, its bright yellow eyes locked on the slightest movements under the rippling waves. A large carp has just emerged, its silver scales sparkling in the sunlight. In an instant, the fish eagle swooped down. In just a split second, the water surface broke, its sharp, curved claws digging deep into the fish's body. The eagle took off strongly, flying while tightening its claws, carrying its precious feast back to its nest. Amidst the murmuring waves of the Okavango, the fish eagle's loud cry still echoed throughout the sky. Each swoop down to the water, each pair of wings spread high in the sky, affirmed its inviolable position. Not only is it the ruler of the sky, the African fish eagle is also a symbol of freedom, strength, and life in this delta region. The Okavango landscape has never been a single color. This is a place where all creatures, big and small, are forced to fight for survival. Amidst the vast grasslands of the Okavango, black and white streaks swaying in the midday sun, there are herds of zebras leisurely grazing. Their unique striped fur is not only an identification mark, but also a perfect camouflage, making it difficult for predators to distinguish individual animals when the herd moves. Zebras live in large herds, sometimes up to hundreds, led by a male leader. They bond with each other through loud neighing and intimate rubbing, creating a tight solidarity within the group. The main diet is weeds and low shrubs, but zebras are an important link in the Okavango ecosystem, keeping the grasslands constantly regenerated. When the dry season comes, the herd is forced to migrate hundreds of kilometers to find new water, and that is when the greatest danger comes. Late afternoon on the Okavango grasslands, the red sunlight spreads out, hiding the silhouettes moving silently in the tall grass. A group of lionesses lie down, their eyes locked on the herd of zebras that are busy grazing. They patiently, slowly approaching without making a sound. The zebras are still leisurely, occasionally raising their heads in alertness, but then lowering their heads to graze, completely unaware of the approaching death. Then the fateful moment comes. The lions rush out together. In an instant, the distance is erased. The thunderous pounce sends both bodies tumbling into the dusty grass. A panicked neighing rings out, then quickly falls into silence. The rest of the herd has escaped far away, but behind them, the song of survival has been decided. In the harsh world of Okavango, the strong always win, and life and death are just a step away. In the harsh journey of Okavango, zebras are not only familiar prey for predators, but also a symbol of resilience and solidarity. Every migratory step, every unique stripe on their bodies is proof of the endless cycle of survival. Although danger lurks everywhere, the zebra herd still perseveres to continue weaving vivid colors on the majestic picture of wild Africa. Okavango is an oasis of life in the heart of the arid desert, where beauty and cruelty blend together. Here, no one is invincible. Only species that know how to adapt can continue to exist and write an endless epic of survival. Do you think hippos deserve to be the master of the underwater species? Leave your comments below the video. If you love the life and death confrontations of animals in harsh places, press the bell and subscribe to follow the next series.